Welcome, welcome, my dear friends. Come on in, sit down. Let's have tea together. It's so good to be with you. Yeah, as you know, this is like tea with me. Nothing is rehearsed. Um, it's just like you coming into my living room and let's chat. I mean, right now it's a kind of a one-sided conversation. Um, but I just want to share with you like my heart. And I feel like we're all human. And so what I share, um, hopefully some things will resonate with you as what you might be feeling or and maybe ways that can help through your journey because I just share what's been helping me through my journey. So, yeah, this week it was about faith. So, let's just like take a breath. Take a deep, deep breath and notice this breath that is arising from the bottoms of our feet up through our spine and up through our head and just falling down like a waterfall through the front side of our bodies, all the way down through our legs to our feet to the center of the earth. And as we notice this breath that's arising from nothing, this new breath, as it breathes us, every cell of us, we recognize and acknowledge that this could only be God's breath living and breathing within us. And as you take this next breath, know that you are, I am the breath of God. We are. We are the breath of God being breathed in this divine human vessel, this vessel that is literally the blueprint of the universe. Like it is so incredible. And last week, I touched on as best I could just how amazing and miraculous and magnificent a single cell is, let alone all the trillions of cells in our body working together so that we can experience this physical life in all the ways, the miraculous ways, the infinite ways that we experience life. So faith. We get to choose faith. I mean, we really could live a life here not choosing faith. And that would be needing to calculate and figure out our life and every move we make and kind of know in our mind that it's going to work out a certain way, which it usually doesn't. But it's trying so hard to see and to um, predict the future by all the calculations that we've made, actually, that has been based on the past, because our mind simply cannot, which by the way is living in the mind, but our mind simply cannot go beyond the box that it's lived in. Like it only knows our experience. And that's why living from the heart is so incredibly more powerful. Um, it, um, it's beyond the mind. Living in the heart is beyond the mind. And living in our heart is the only way to live in faith. Like there's just no possible way to live in faith unless we're in our heart, because faith is seeing and imagining and knowing that something is that we are creating something um, in ways that we cannot see with our physical eye. Like we are seeing, it's a heart vision, and our mind is that quiet, empty space that the visions of the heart can can be manifested through. So it's the mind following the heart instead of not living by faith. And it's the mind trying to drag the heart behind, which really that's not even possible. Like your heart was created before your mind. Like we were literally meant to live in faith. We were meant to live in our heart here in this third dimensional earth plane that we're living in and get to experience. So if we choose to not live in faith in this lifetime, we will miss out on the most miraculous life that we could ever live. Because living a miraculous life does require living in faith. So, uh, real life is, well, let me just tell you how it was for me last week. Uh, yeah, so it's easy to get afraid. So it's, you've heard that saying, choose faith over fear. Well, it's just really not that simple because this week I really watched when I started to get afraid, like kind of terrified afraid, which for me often happens in the night when I wake up. And so anything I might have been concerned about during the day, at night, it's even more amplified. But so I'm really aware, like I'm afraid. I'm afraid that this might happen, which is usually um our fear, right? Something bad's going to happen. Um, and all the ways that our mind will get into that story. So I'm I'm noticing, I'm just noticing how fearful I am. And I also know that fear isn't going to get me anywhere. I mean, all those fearful thoughts are creating something too, creating exactly what I don't want. So I really know I need to get out of fear. So you really can't just say, "Oh, I'm going to choose faith over fear." Like at least that wasn't how how it works for me. So just do this if you can in this moment. If there's something you're really afraid that might happen, or something that you're really afraid of, can you like move into that space and notice where you feel that fear in your body the most? So, what I discovered, and it may not be the same for everyone, but I kind of think it could be. Um, so I felt it in my gut. Like I literally felt gutless. I felt so powerless when I'm in my fear. Like my mind is spinning and there's just no power inside of me except to sink into this fear that the fear has me clenched in its jaws. So, so I'm really, yeah, like I said, aware, like this labyrinth step I'm on right now is fear. And I'm noticing how I'm with this fear and how I know that I need to get out of this fear and how I know that faith is going to be the key for me to create what I really want because these fearful thoughts are creating, like I said, what I don't want. And I know that faith is creating what I do want. It's that I don't see in my physical eye. It's that, so it's that vision, that heart vision that I have, but around me, everything's in chaos. Everything looks completely opposite of what I am creating in my mind, my imagination, which is our greatest tool. It's our greatest gift to live here because it is the imagination is those visions in our heart. Um, I mean, really think about it. Like the chair you're sitting on or whatever you're sitting on, like that was a thought in someone's mind. It was a vision in their imagination that they began to get really excited about, which calls in the heart, and then it was created. So everything begins with our imagination. So we're either imagining the worst when we're in a fear, or our true heart's vision. So I am realizing that I can't switch from fear to faith. And then I just started to breathe. And I just started noticing my breath and realizing how miraculous it is. And like I start out every single one of these, noticing that this miraculous breath arises from nothing. Like, how miraculous is that? It's breathing me. I begin to get in such appreciation for the miracle of my body. And then um, something else came into my mind that I just felt so appreciative and just in so much gratitude. And you know where you feel that? You feel that in your heart. Like you can't feel true, genuine appreciation and gratitude anywhere else but in your heart. And that's love. You're feeling love. In those moments, my fear dissolved because perfect love dissolves fear. And so the key to move from fear is to move into this place, whatever it is for you, that can move you into the place of your heart where you're literally feeling your heart. You're feeling a deep gratitude for beauty. Like to me, beauty is one of the quickest things to bring me into my heart. Like I'm just in awe. I stepped outside this morning and like there had to be thousands of birds in every tree, like singing and just I couldn't believe it. I looked on that tree and I looked on that tree, and because they were so loud, they were on every single tree blessing this place. And I was just like, oh my goodness, I just had to like breathe that beauty in, breathe that magnificence in. And I was in my heart. So, whatever it is for you, when you're in your fear, if you can just breathe and move into your heart, because in your heart is the only place faith resides. Because in that moment, in my heart, I began to imagine like everything relaxed for me and my imagination and the faith of what I wanted to create. I literally, there was a pathway made and I literally I was in my heart and I literally could walk in faith in those moments. I hope that's helpful because it's, I'm telling you, at least for me, when fear takes hold, because you're looking at everything that's happening around you with your physical eye, and faith is not walking with your physical eye. Faith is walking through with your third eye open, like what that vision from your heart that you see and you know, regardless of any outside circumstance, regardless of anything that's going on right now, that what might seem to be chaos, it's like, you know, that that is something restructuring and organizing, reorganizing itself into what you are envisioning, because the power to envision lies within you. And it is our power. Okay. So this is what, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, because I felt fear and faith, because when I feel my faith, it comes from my heart, but suddenly it's in my third energy center, my solar plexus, where the fear started. I suddenly feel powerful where I didn't feel power in my fear. I am like powerful, like my third energy center, your third chakra is fully online, and it's that radiant sun. It is the sunshine of your faith in that third chakra. And that, I don't know, it was just like so exciting for me to like go, oh my gosh. So faith can only step out from your heart, from the love. But then it moves quickly into, and maybe simultaneously into, that power center of the radiance of knowing, of courage, of faith, of power. So, th- I don't know, our body, like our body, the energy centers in our body that help us move through this life is so incredible. So, yeah. So it's the golden sun within us that is radiating in all directions. When we can step into faith and move into our vision, like that's where our focus is. And when we move into faith, um, there's trust just holding us in its wings. Some of you know that the Sophia Code is truly a sacred text for me. And in the chapter, I believe it's Mary Magdalene's chapter. Yes. Uh, there, she talks about all the inner angels within us, and faith is an inner angel that is within us all the time. And the inner angel of trust is right there to catch us, to swoop us up, and to carry us through. So, yeah, just going to take a pause here and just look at my notes. Yes. And I already said that truly we'll never know our full potential living here in this lifetime unless we are walking in faith. And it's not faith if we can see ahead. Like if our mind's got it figured out, it is not faith. So it's like, don't uh, stay encouraged, is what I want to say. Stay encouraged, even when things are feel and seem and look like they're falling apart. Stay encouraged, because it is your focus of your vision inside that's happening, that's reorganizing. And it's okay if you can't, if what you see doesn't look like it's happening. It's okay. It's okay. The unseen is still working for you, because life is for you, and it's creating what you are focusing on from your visions of your heart, um, is truly walking in faith. And I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot, but actually Bob Proctor said, when I mentored with him, like repetition, 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 that's when it'll finally sink into our subconscious. So there you have it. And remember that faith is a seed. So faith is that, like a seed. You could never guess whatever flower, vegetable, whatever you're planting, when you look at that seed, that it is actually going to bloom and blossom and bear fruit, or bloom in the most gorgeous flower with the most amazing essence, by what the seed looks like, and the whole transformation that the seed goes through. So changes constantly. And it can look like it's just not going to be what we thought. Like you see a sprout, it still doesn't look like what the blossom flower or the fruit is going to be. So trust the process of life and stop looking at appearances. Move into your heart. The visions of your heart, stay there. And that will keep you stepping in faith on your labyrinth of life. It is a walk of faith. Like I'm telling you, that labyrinth of life is absolutely a walk of faith because you can be back like this last first of the week. Like I was back visiting, grief was greeting me again. I'd been there before, but you know what? I was on a labyrinth step that wasn't the same step. It was on a different circuit at the same place. And it's spiraling because the labyrinth of life is a spiraling path that's taking us to the center, the very essence of who we are. Yes. And so faith, it is that transcendental power. Like it will transcend our fear. It will transcend everything that looks like around us that is crumbling. Faith will do that. But remember that faith begins in the heart. It's that seed you planted in the heart because it's that seed of what you love. It's that seed of what you wanted. It's not that seed that somebody else thinks you should live or thinks you should love. It's like, no, you're planting this seed because this is what you want to create in your life. This is what you want to live. This is how you want to be. And it's your seeds of faith that you've planted and they're in your heart. I've got to, I just had this on my notes. So I'm not exactly sure if this is a quote. I heard it from Deborah Cummings, and I don't know if that was her quote or not, but I loved it because you know that saying that says the sky is the limit? It's like, that's not true. The sky is not the limit. Your mind is. Don't you love that? The sky is not the limit. Your mind is. So, so just remember that when you're in your fear, you're in your mind, and that's limiting and that's powerless. So when you can move into your heart, oh my goodness, like there is no limit. There is no limit. So, you know what? I covered everything that I had on my notes. I hope this was helpful. Please email me, Theresa at theresagooch.com. If there's anything that you want to talk about, anything that you want to share, I'm so here for you. And I feel like eventually I'm going to get this chat thing going. And I love you all so much. Thank you for making the time to be here and to fill your heart with just a deep relaxation and just a space and time to move into your heart, to feel what's important to you, to know that what you want is your soul. It's the very essence of you that wants to be expressed, that gets to be expressed, and that we get to choose faith over fear, and that we get to move from fear to the gratitude of anything that is something that we deeply appreciate, that just brings us into awe. And then you will feel your heart, and then you will notice how the fear, when you stay in that place long enough, like, and it doesn't need to be even that long, you'll just notice, like, oh my gosh, I'm so not even afraid. Like, it's so, um, a whole new world opens up because it's the world of the infinite that you see through your third eye that is us in our physical body. Like it's all a part of us. These energy centers are all working together for our good. I mean it when I just say our body is so miraculous and it's here to serve us. It is the blueprint of the entire universe. It truly is. And that's like 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 how much more power is there than that? Like a single cell, like we talked about last week. Okay. um I love you. I will see you next week, and have a fabulous week walking in faith.